Mira Business FM, Dubai's home of business radio.
It's the morning drive, and Raymond Kisswany is back with us. Raymond is a legal expert. He's a partner at Davidson Co. Very nice to see you.
Very nice to see you as well.
Having our philosophical discussions off air there. We're going to get you back to... I do think Wednesdays is Raymond actually is a good idea. We did a 4-hour show, just you talking about nutrition, and what's the other stuff you like? Philosophy, the legal area?
Yeah.
What else do you do?
There's so many different things that we can go. You know, I'm like a huge fan of historical people. So, I mean, one of my favorite things is to, like, you look at all these kind of old timers like Benjamin Franklin and Einstein, whatever. They're known for one thing, but they actually had so many different other interests that they did. And I think these days we try to become only kind of pigeonholed into being one thing, and it's really good to be an expert in one thing, but it's good to have other passions and other interests.
Absolutely right. Keeps us rounded,
Absolutely.
doesn't it? Yeah. So look, today, if you advertise, you promote, or you post sponsored content in the UAE, this is the update. The deadline to comply with the new UAE Advertiser Permit officially ended just at the weekend there, January the 31st. From this point forward, enforcement and fines are in effect. So what does that mean if you're a business, you're an influencer, or just someone posting online? Who needs a permit, who doesn't? What should you do right now? That's where we're going to go this morning. Deadline, as I said, January the 30th, Raymond. What changes? Because that's now gone by.
Yeah. So, I mean, today's the 3rd of February, so technically 2 days into enforcement. I think just before we sort of dive into the how and the what, I think it's really important to understand the why, because I'm not sure if you've seen like the level of hysteria that's gone on online on various social media platforms. And I think, you know, the more that you understand and the reason why, to kind of calm the waters down.
Okay.
We sort of did episodes before about data protection and consumer protection and freelancing, and this one sort of ties into that general ecosystem.
Yeah.
Basically, what the UAE is trying to introduce is, again, in that sort of grand scheme of transparency and protecting your data, protecting the consumer, and sort of having a general stable marketplace. So this advertiser permit is aiming to professionalize online advertising and influencer marketing, so that the audience, the consumer, they're protected from misleading promotions. Brands and content creators are all operating under clear standards and guidelines, and regulators can identify who is behind an ad and enforce rules effectively. That's kind of the why of why we're here.
Yeah.
So in terms of what's happened now, so up until the 31st, it was all about kind of get yourself licensed, get yourself on this permit if you need it. And we will get into, I think, as to how wide this is, because I think a lot of people aren't realizing how wide of a scope this is. But basically, we are now in enforcement territory. So from the 1st of February, it's if you haven't gotten this permit and you are continuing to promote or publish material online, and that means social media, websites, blogs, etc. After the 1st, you are exposing yourself to penalties.
Okay.
So we are in effectively an enforcement stage now. So there's been the grace period is gone, and enforcement is here.
Okay. So who needs this permit? Because this is, you know, what I'm wondering, and this is the question that everybody's asking, because we've all got social media. Lots of people have their own website. Loads of people blog. I mean, is it if I even mention a brand, I'm going to be, you know, accosted by men in masks, or you know where I'm going?
No, I think really a good legal test to put into it is whoever is publishing promotional content online.
Right.
So whoever is publishing promotional content online. And if you notice with that statement, it is it's specifically promotional content. And notice that I didn't say for money, because money is not involved. It doesn't matter if you're a big influencer, a small influencer, if you're just a regular person. So if you are a person posting promotional or advertising content online, and that may be, again, social media, websites, blogs, anything of a digital platform, you are falling within that scope. So this captures anything of obviously a paid campaign. If you have received gifted products and you are posting about those gifted products for promotional, i.e. that you receive the gifted products in order to promote them on your channels.
Yeah.
If there's some sort of barter deal, for example, if you had a free night stay at a hotel and you posted that promotional content.
Okay.
So it's a bit of a quid pro quo. If you're using things like affiliate links or discount codes, it's basically if you got paid, that's very obvious. But even if you didn't get paid, but you got something of value, that falls into it. So the regulators have framed this permit as a permit for an individual that is providing advertising / media content on social media, and there is a validity period and a renewal approach. So to summarize, if you're posting, if your post is designed to drive attention or sales or bookings or downloads or reputation for a third-party brand, then you need to have this permit.
Okay. Which is kind of clear, but there's some. What was your word earlier? Nuance.
Nuance, my favorite word. Well, I guess. Look, it's a good way to separate it would be, and I think you'll start realizing how big of a difference it is. If I, Raymond Kisswany, go to a restaurant and I have a nice meal and I really like this restaurant, and then I go home and I post about it on Instagram or whatever, I say, I had a really great meal at blah blah restaurant, really enjoyed it, great food, great experience.
Yeah.
That is just me personally posting that I had a great experience.
Okay.
There's no quid pro quo. However, I get a free meal from the same restaurant, and I go there and I do my video and I say what a great meal it is and yada, yada, yada. Use code Raymond10 for 10% off. That is a completely different scenario.
Well, that is. But what if you don't have a use code Raymond10 to get 10% off, and it's not obvious that you had a free meal? You make no mention of that. How does that work?
Well, I mean, technically, it still falls into it because I received something of value.
But it's proving it, isn't it?
I received that free meal, and in exchange, I made a promotional video. Yeah. So technically, that does fall into the scope. Now, I mean, I don't think it's a very practical approach because most of the time, the way that these online ads are acting is that the brand wants the influencer to prove that they are churning in their followers to come to this restaurant or to this brand.
Sure.
So there will be some sort of a affiliate link, a discount code, mention that Joe sent you.
Yeah.
Because there is that kind of quid pro quo of why are we using you to promote this material if we're not getting something in return for it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm with you. So this is any size of whether it's part of a large advertising campaign, if it's a one-off promotion, this applies. What are the fines or the penalties that are now in place?
Yeah. So we're seeing kind of public summaries of what these fines could be, and they can be up to 10,000 dirhams,
right,
for non-compliance, and they could potentially be higher depending on repeated offenses or the level of the breach itself. But I think the media framework is providing these kind of administrative penalties by implementing the decisions and the regulations. I think what matters for for this is that there's a financial risk, which isn't theoretical. It is, we are in enforcement territory. And it's not only the fines, but it can be the takedown risk, campaign disruptions, and the reputational impact for yourself and for the brand. So it is just worthwhile getting this permit if you require it.
What does it cost again, the permit, by the way?
Well, that's a good question, actually. I don't know the fees.
We'll look that up.
Off the top of my head.
I'll have a look at that in a moment. I had another question for you that occurred to me there. What about brands or companies who are working with advertisers or influencers who don't have a permit, a particular influencer that you really like, and they haven't got this done yet, they haven't got it organized? Can a brand or a company be held responsible? Yeah,
I think brands should really treat this as a standard compliance gate, similar to all the other compliance checkpoints that they would utilize, i.e., like making sure that a person that they're working with is properly employed, properly visaed, et cetera. So if a brand is commissioning advertising through content creators, they really should have a basic process of verifying that the creator has a permit, keeping that record, and ensuring the content is compliable, is compliant with the applicable rules and the sector restrictions that they're using it for. Okay. Because the rollout has explicitly urged both creators and advertisers to make sure that the permit is in place.
Okay. It's free, by the way. I just looked this up. It's free for 3 years. UAE citizens, residents. It's a form of support for advertising content creators. This is AI telling me this on Google. So there is going to be a cost after 3 years, I guess. I don't know what that is at the moment, but free right now. So you've kind of intimated how personal posts may cross into advertising. It's that affiliate link idea. Joe sent you, that kind of thing. But if a brand sends you a free product and you post about it, that counts as advertising, doesn't it? That you need a permit to do that.
Well,
in theory,
if a brand sends you a gift and you post about it, I think it depends on what you're. Again, it's more about what your post is intending to do. So I mean, this often happens, I guess, because I spent a lot of my time and my money online. That I often get free sort of little gifts from things like Kipsons or Talabat or what have you.
Yeah.
And if it's just a thank you for sending me this, date box or whatever it is, I wouldn't think that would count as being promotional material. But again, it is if my post is more about promoting that brand for my followers to go use that company or use it, then that would fall into it.
It runs into subliminal territory, doesn't it? And I guess you're going to find people trying to look for some pretty creative ways to make this work for them. It's just interesting to talk this through because you can see where, in your words, the nuances are. If I promote my own business on my company, for example, I have a license under the DED, an e-trader license to do things in addition to my day job, if you like. And one of the stipulations to have that license is that I have to have an account. It was a Twitter account when I first opened it. It was a social media account of some sort. So if I'm promoting my own small business or services that I offer on my personal account, do I need an advertiser permit to advertise myself?
Yeah, no, that's really a good question because the entirety of if we look at the why, it is all about kind of understanding the third party involved.
Yes.
But if it's your own business, and this is a really good question actually, because the highlighted exemption is that if it's a personal account promoting your own product, your own business, your own service, that doesn't fall into that category.
Right. Okay.
Right. Because again, it's so clearly linked. It's where the protection is. We don't know who's behind this ad or what was done. So if I'm promoting Davidson Co, it's known that I'm a partner there. I'm an employee there.
Yeah.
there isn't that. But it is promoting a third party brand that becomes it. Where I think it's going to be a little bit of a caution territory is if you're doing that self promotion and it morphs into doing things like collaborations with other brands with your business. So an example, if you own a sporting goods store and you're doing a collaboration with a particular protein product, there or you're doing things like a joint giveaway or a third party partnership. That's where it dips into that you're promoting another brand. But so long as you're promoting yourself and your own products, then that is an exemption.
Okay, there's something else I think worth pointing out here, and it's this. You may have a creator license. You might then apply for an advertiser's permit because you want to monetize content, obviously. But not every advertiser permit is going to be approved. We're hearing stories of permits not being approved. It's anecdotal, it's social media. So it's not an automatic thing. Apparently there is some form of vetting process, depending on your content, perhaps. I suppose.
Possibly, yeah.
So it may be that there's more of a procedure to go through, I think. And it comes back to that point of how closely is social media advertising and social media in general being monitored, particularly given that these are the new rules in place?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I mean, there isn't any public information about how social media or online content is being monitored. But it can only be a good thing, in my humblest of opinions, where we have a procedure for regulating this sort of web where within the real world, within physical stores, we can see, we can have access to what's happening. With online content, there's this sort of maze of not knowing what is behind something.
Yeah.
And to have this regulation of where brands have permits, creators have permits, there is a complaint system and process for the consumer. This can only be a good thing, while at the same time not hindering business activity.
Yeah.
So I think where we're creating again a bit similar to consumer protection laws, where we'll have the licensing requirements, the permissions, the vetting, the follow-ups, and the complaint procedures all there in place, which can only make it safer and more appetizing for all of us.
Yeah, for sure. What about posts published, on January the 31st or January the 30th that are still live? Is that a risk?
Well, I mean, the technical point is that as of the 1st of February is when we are enforcement stage. Obviously, with enforcement, generally speaking, it does fall into a risk-based approach by regulators. So there will be kind of a bit more targeting, I would assume, of larger campaigns and larger issues or repeated offenses. But if you haven't gotten it, as we've just discovered, it's free for 3 years.
It is.
You've really got nothing to lose than to file the application, honestly.
Okay, well, that's probably the way to approach it, isn't it, really? So the kind of top line of this is, very simply, you need a permit if you're an influencer or you want to be influencer or you just want to talk about content that you like and you've got an arrangement in some way with somebody who's advertising as a third party on your platform, you need a license to do it. And as we pointed out, it is for free.
Yeah, it's actually really important to also, just because I think when we say the word influencer, there tends to be this image in our mind of having that.
It's a good point.
It doesn't, like, there's no scope within the law as to how many followers you have, or again, if you haven't been paid for it. None of those matters. It's all about that test of promotional material. So, was there a benefit? Did you receive money, a free product, a free service, a free stay, invite, etc.? Is there a call of action that you're doing with your content? Are you encouraging buying, booking, subscribing, downloading, using a code, clicking a link? And the last one would be, is there some coordination between yourself and a brand? If you've got two of those, then you definitely need a permit. If you've got one, I would definitely consider it.
You're on the side
Yeah.
of caution, I think. Okay. Well, for now, we'll come back to this, but for now, Raymond Kisswany, legal expert, partner at Davidson Co. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Thank you for coming in. This is Mirror Business FM.